Actually, before we get started, I was hoping you could do something for me. Junpei stopped in front of door 3 and turned around. Ace, 7, Lotus, could you please place your palms in red? Huh? Why? If we need to get to the shower room, why don't we just... No, we're not going inside. Once you authenticate, step away from the door. Why? Please, just do it. Or perhaps you don't want to know who kills Snake and Clover. Junpei's implication was clear, and 7 understood perfectly. Fine. What about you, Ace? Lotus? Very well. Sure. Quickly, they pressed their palms onto the red. Once they had finished, they stepped away from the door as Junpei had instructed. 3 asterisks shone from the red display panel. Junpei approached it and held his bracelet over the scanner. He made quite sure he didn't place his palm on it, but instead brought his bracelet near it. The 4th asterisk appeared, just as Junpei had expected. It was possible to authenticate without placing one's palm on the red, as long as the bracelet was brought near it. Junpei pulled the lever down. Door 3 opened like a hungry mouth. 9 long seconds passed. And the door shut, unfed. Junpei walked slowly back to the others, who were waiting some distance from the door, talking to one another. Santa and June had joined them as well. It looked as though they hadn't found a chance to break the conversation yet. As Junpei approached, they turned to look at him, curiosity plain on their faces. Before long, the other 3 did as well. Clearly, they were all expecting some answers. Thanks. I appreciate your cooperation. Clearly, they hoped for something more forthcoming. He continued. By the way, Ace, would you mind if I asked you something? What is it? Do you know who I am? What? What kind of question? Just answer it, please. Who am I? You're Junpei. Of course. Who else would you be? Unfortunately, that's the wrong answer. Actually, I'm Santa. What? Ace's voice was full of surprise, but it was also tinged with confusion and fear. Everyone else looked nearly as surprised. Santa looked especially shocked to discover he was actually someone else. If he spoke, however, the trap would be exposed. Junpei quickly continued. The clothes I'm wearing, I borrowed from Junpei, and the clothes he's wearing are mine. We had a little swap. That's ridiculous! Impossible! So you're saying I'm not Santa? Of course you aren't! Why? What makes you so sure I'm not Santa? If you were Santa, then door 3 wouldn't have opened for us just now. Yeah? Okay. There would be 1. But the 4 of us just opened door 3. You can't possibly be Santa. Your bracelet is number 3. It's 5. Right? Only then was it too late that Ace realized his mistake. He set his jaw and glared at Junpei. You're exactly right. My bracelet number is 5. As he spoke, Junpei lifted his wrist up to show everyone the bright red 5 on his wrist. Sorry, Ace. I tricked you. Of course, I'm not really Santa. I'm Junpei. Who could possibly think I was? It's obvious I'm not. To think I was... ridiculous. But I guess you couldn't see just how obvious it was. I asked you before, didn't I? What makes you so sure I'm not Santa? And you answered, if you were Santa, then door 3 wouldn't have opened for us just now. Most people wouldn't say something like that. As a justification for why I'm not Santa, I mean. The first thing that would come to anyone's mind would be that the bracelet number. That would be the one thing they'd say. One sentence. You don't have his face. Ace? You have that thing. Am I right? Junpei's voice was quiet and calm. He knew the truth, and so did Ace. He could hear a sudden buzz of conversation from the others. What's that? He heard Lois begin to explain it to them. Ace glared at them and turned back toward Junpei and sighed. Very well. I confess. I have that thing. I cannot differentiate human faces. Is that what this was about? You want to mock me for my disorder? No, not at all. I'm not making fun of you at all. In fact, I feel kind of bad for you. No, the reason I brought this up is that there's an excellent chance the person who killed Snake has that. Ace's face tightened. His eyes narrowed. What do you mean? Junpei leaned casually against the iron piping on one of the beds. I'll just come right out with it. I think it was you, Ace. You killed him. Junpei was suddenly very aware of 5 pairs of eyes on him. He had undivided attention now. The room had grown very, very quiet. Junpei took a deep breath. That's ridiculous. What possible evidence do you... I have 3 pieces of evidence. The first? Think back to a few hours ago. You made us argue over the 3 doors here in the hospital room. There was no way all 7 people could go through them. Laura suggested that we sacrifice one of us. She looked away awkwardly. Junpei glanced at her and continued. Then you, Ace, said that I'll stay here. Why would you say something like that? It's pretty simple, really. You didn't want us to see the dead body in the shower room. You see, if Ace stayed behind, there were only 2 doors the rest of us could go through. Door 7 and 8. There's no way he can get through door 3, the shower room. You knew that, didn't you, Ace? That's why you volunteered to stay behind. Come on now, I think that's going a bit far. I can understand if you're jealous of my bravery, but please don't devalue my actions. I only wanted to save the rest of you. Surely you can understand my altruism. Altruism, huh? Junpei stared off into the darkness at something very interesting and lazily began to dig a persistent bit of wax out of his ear. You already knew, didn't you? You knew that whichever doors we took eventually would end up back in the big hospital room. What on earth are you saying? Of course I didn't know that. How could I? How could I have? Really? Yes! Yes! Pleading was not something they had heard from Ace before. Junpei pulled the piece of wax from his ear, glanced at it, and flicked it off into the darkness. That's disgusting. Oh, well, that's cool. I still got 2 more pieces of evidence that say you're the killer. The second is that, as I said earlier, you have that thing, and I can't say. Then you mean to imply that a person who can't distinguish human faces must be a bad person? Junpei, they call that prejudice. No. I'm not that stupid. Then why? Well, before I explain, I suppose there's something I could tell you. The corpse in the shower room? It's not Snake's. What? What? Ace's face went pale. The others looked confused as well. If the body wasn't Snake's. I didn't put it together right away, but there was something Clover told me. She said that Snake's left arm was prosthetic. He's lost his real arm in an accident. But the body we saw in the shower room? Let's call him Guy X. Guy X's left arm is definitely flesh and blood. In other words, Guy X couldn't possibly have been Snake. Oh, God. No. That's impossible. Ace had started muttering deliriously to himself, shaking his head back and forth. Junpei was long past caring. Let's say, hypothetically, the killer didn't have that thing. If that were the case, he would immediately realize that Guy X wasn't Snake. Even if the clothes were the same as Snake's, their faces would be completely different. It would have been obvious they were different people. And yet, they still killed him. Why? Why would they kill strangers who've only just shown up? On the other hand, if the killer did have that, it makes sense. They thought Guy X was Snake and hadn't killed him. Wait just a moment. Let's just say you're right, and I mistook Guy X for Snake. Even if I did, I would have no motive to kill him. Why would I have to kill Snake? I can think of at least 2 motives. 1, Snake knew about your past. If you ever revealed what he knew, that would have been really bad for you. You really didn't want that to happen. So to make sure Snake's mouth stayed shut, you killed him. 2, Snake had a grudge against you. You knew that, or at least he could have easily assumed he did. Even without exposing your identity, he was a threat to you. You never knew when you might be attacked. You couldn't ever let your guard down. Every moment was a moment he might try something. You didn't want that kind of danger hanging over you, so you... Hey, hold on a minute. For the first time since the beginning of Junpei's explanation, someone besides Ace spoke. What's the past that Ace wouldn't want us to know? Why did Santa have a grudge against him? Look at this. He handed Santa a small piece of paper. Santa squinted at the paper and began to read. The Notary game was played once before 9 years ago. The person with the number 2 bracelet attended the game 9 years ago. It was planned by the following 4 people from Cradle Pharmaceuticals. All those people. What is this? Slowly, Santa looked up from the paper. His eyes met Junpei's. It's a message from Zero. It was in the safe in the first-class cabin. Then suddenly... Give me a break! Ace's face was red and shaking, and his voice was full of fiery tinge of desperation. That paper's a lie! Someone's trying to frame me! Me? You said me, right? Junpei's eyes narrowed and the trap began to close. Ace inhaled sharply. His eyes flickered off Junpei to something, anything else. Wouldn't that mean that you're admitting that you're Hongo, the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceutical? Or am I mistaken? It was as though a switch had been flipped. The color drained from Ace's face, and as he realized what he'd done, his eyes went wide. Very well. I admit that much. I am certainly the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceutical, Gentaro Hanga, or whatever. So what if I am? I don't know anything about this notary game that supposedly took place 9 years ago. Everything on that scrap paper is bullshit. Someone is trying to set me up, you see. First of all, Ace stammered as he tried desperately to work himself to a more tenable position. Junpei, you're claiming I did this all by myself. Think that over, alright? How could I have killed Snake all by myself? Not Snake. It was Guy X. I don't care who it was. You said a killer put this other man into door 3, right? Yeah, maybe. Then I couldn't have possibly done that alone. I couldn't have opened door 3 with only myself and Guy X. Nope, you could have. Really? What? Ace's face was tight and his teeth were clenched. Junpei fixed him with a level stare. The trap was about to close. Actually, Ace, when you were unconscious, I took something from you. Remember when you were injected with that anesthetic and fell asleep in the big hospital room? Yeah, back then, I took this. Junpei put his hand into his pocket. No! You couldn't have! Ace's right hand moved. Junpei smiled. I got you, Ace. Your right hand there tells me all I need to know. You want to tell me that you were so worried about? What's in your pocket? It's a number 9 bracelet, isn't it? Ace, Guy X, and Ninth Man's bracelet. That was all you need to open door 3. Yeah, apparently. That's how you killed Guy X all by yourself, Ace. All you needed was a number 9 bracelet in your chest pocket. Ace lowered his hand from where it had stopped, halfway to his pocket. He looked down at the floor, his face hidden from Junpei. All he could see was the corner of Ace's mouth twitching like a dying fish. If you want to play innocent, that's fine by me. Go ahead. Tell me I don't have the bracelet, if that's what you want to do. But if you could take off your coat and hand it to me, I'd really appreciate it. Otherwise, we'll have to take it from you by force. Right, Seven? Yeah, it'd be my pleasure. Seven cracked his knuckles with a sound like gunfire. Oh, he's going crazy now. Oh boy, here we go. Ace roared with laughter. He threw his arms wide and his head back and laughed, filling the room with a sound that scarcely belonged there. Then it stopped. His arms came down and his head dropped to look straight ahead at Junpei. Well, that's kind of creepy now. God, and they're playing the scary music. That's just great. His face was flat and cold, devoid of any emotion. Well done, Junpei. As you so correctly deduced, I have the number 9 bracelet. I retrieved it while we were searching for the missing hardware for the Red. I left the room I was supposed to search and headed to the first-class cabin on B deck. His voice showed no emotion, no sense of remorse or interest. It was almost bored, as though he were reciting an especially dull corporate letter. My purpose is to obtain the number 9 bracelet. 9 is a potent ally in the notary game. Adding 9 to any side numbers won't alter the digital root. And it's very true. As you can see, 9 is a very useful number here. With it, one could go anywhere, with anyone. So I made for a first-class cab and obtained it. Ace successfully acquired a number 9 bracelet. He also found an unexpected bonus, the knife the ninth man had been holding. He slipped both of them into his chest pocket and left as quickly as he'd come. He walked down the stairs and headed back to where he was supposed to be. That was when he met Guy X and mistook him for Snake. Snake was on his way back to the large hospital room and had not noticed Ace behind him. Ace made sure it stayed that way. He followed the man wearing Snake's clothes to door 3. When the man stopped, he walked up behind him quietly and called out, "Snake." The man turned to look at Ace. He said nothing. No words came out of his half-open mouth. He seemed dazed somehow, almost like a man half asleep. Perhaps he'd just been drugged. It didn't matter to Ace. Ace was certain that the man was Snake. He knew Snake had been part of the notary game 9 years before. Snake hadn't recognized Ace immediately, but he was blind. That made sense. Why then hadn't Snake said anything to him? Surely he had forgotten what had happened to him in the notary game, but not once he attempted to confront Ace. Perhaps his lack of sight had prevented him from recognizing Ace, or perhaps Snake had conspired with Zero to deceive Ace. In either event, he was a threat. It was better to deal with him sooner than later. Ace's mind was made up. He moved. He held a number 9 bracelet over the red. He waved his own bracelet in front of the red and finally grabbed Snake's arm and shoved his hand against the scanner panel. The door opened. Ace threw the man through it. Oop. Hold on a minute, guys. Alright, I'm back. I just have a lot of people in my house right now, so I'm going to try to keep them get quiet and try to get this over with, because this is actually getting really interesting. So, jeez, 81 seconds passed. The man inside the door passed away. I can't get used to that face on Ace. It's insane. After that, I returned to my post as nothing had happened. After conducting my own search, I returned to the large hospital room when the 1 a.m. bell rang. Ace's eyes were cold, and his cheeks were hollow and pallid. When he spoke, only his lips and tongue moved. The rest of his face was eerily still. Junpei glared at Ace. He took a deep breath and thought about the next question he had to ask. He didn't want to. He knew what the answer would be. He just didn't want to hear it. Junpei swallowed and spoke. "Ace, did you kill Clover?" "Yes." "Why? Why'd you kill her?" "She was Snake's sister. It was possible he had told her something dangerous. Additionally, she had gone through door 1. It seemed likely she might have found it." "Found what?" "Why don't you go through door 1 yourself? Perhaps it's hidden somewhere." Suddenly Lois interrupted. "Yeah, but Lois and I went through door 1 too. We didn't see anything suspicious." "Yes, I thought as much after I heard your report at the central stairs. I doubt the two of you could find it." "But perhaps Clover was different. Perhaps she had found it. I was, therefore, desperate to find her. And at last I did, in the first-class cabin." I spoke very calmly. "Did you see it?" "See what?" "Don't act as if you don't understand. You were in the captain's quarters, weren't you?" "Huh? What are you talking about?" "Very well. By the way, what are you doing here, Clover?" "What? Nothing." "There's blood on your shoes. It looks fresh. Did you go take a look at the ninth man's corpse?" "I see. Your silence suggests that you noticed. You saw something, didn't you? You saw that his bracelet was gone." She ran. She made for the exit, but Ace stood in her way. "But you aren't going anywhere!" He caught her by the collar as she passed and threw her to the floor, and hard. She leapt back up and darted past him into the hallway. Ace followed at a run. He was faster. And we know the rest. That bastard. That was how I killed Clover. His face hadn't changed. If he felt guilt or remorse or anything one might feel after taking the life of another human being, it didn't show. You son of a bitch! Seven's whole body trembled with rage, and his voice rumbled with hate. Santa's eyes were bloodthirsty, and Lois and June's faces were distorted by anger and hatred. Ace looked at them and smiled. It was a cold, cruel thing with no humor in it. He shook his head and sighed. I admit it. I've lost. I have lost, completely and utterly. But don't misunderstand, Junpei. I didn't lose to you. I lost to Zero. Not you. I'm rather disgusted with myself for falling into such a simple trap. And it was a trap, make no mistake. I was trapped and manipulated by Zero. The man I killed in the shower room? If he wasn't Snake, then I have no idea who he was. But he was wearing Snake's clothes, and there was no coincidence. He had also been injected with something that reduced his cognition and prevented him from identifying himself or resisting me. But we can't forget the components that were removed from the red before we arrived. I have no doubt that Zero planned all of this. Zero made sure I would kill that man. It follows, of course, that Zero knew everything I wouldn't do. That I would try to take the number 9 bracelet. That I would try to kill Snake. Everything. Suddenly, Junpei remembered a paper he found in the safe. He remembered the last word Zero had written on it. Which were what? I must punish them. For the innocent lives they sacrificed. Huh. So is Zero really a bad guy? I don't even know anymore. And he remembered other words. Words he heard from Clover. I think Zero is one of us. One by one, Junpei looked at the 5 people standing in front of him. Ace, Santa, June, Seven, Lotus. Zero is one of us. No, Junpei paused. There was one more person. Snake. It was clear now that the man who died in the shower room was not Snake. That meant that Snake was almost certainly still alive. Perhaps Snake was Zero. Perhaps Snake had made Gaiac swear as close that he would appear to be dead. Where was Snake now? Perhaps he was somewhere laughing at them. If he was Zero, surely he had lied about many other things. Was he watching them? Wait. Oh, I thought that was ending right there. Well, I believe I've finished with my confession. Why don't we get moving? He sounded as if he just finished doing nothing but more excited than describing the weather. For Santa was the last straw. What the hell is this shit? You aren't gonna go anywhere, you son of a bitch. We're gonna leave your ass here to rot. Definitely. Why? Because I killed Clover? That's ridiculous. Why are you so upset that I killed that little bitch, anyway? She was nothing to you. A stranger you only met a few hours ago. Am I wrong? You bastard! Seven roared and lifted a fist that would likely have shattered Ace's jaw. But someone else was faster. It was Lotus. She stepped toward Ace, raised a fist of her own, and drove it straight into his nose. You've got some fire, don't you? I confess, I rather like a tough woman. He sniffed and wiped a small trickle of blood from his nose and raised an eyebrow. Well, maybe you like another one, then. Before that, let me give you one of my own. Huh? Lois scarcely had time to blink. Ace shaked his arms around her and pulled Lois's back up against him. This is not going to be good. In the same motion, he reached into his coat pocket. It was a gun. Where the hell did he get that? Did he take it from the coffin? I thought we left it there. The revolver. Almost lazily, he tilted it to the point on Lois's head. If any of you so much as blink, I won't hesitate to pull this trigger. I've already killed 2. No, 3 people. Don't think I'm not ready to make it 4. 3 people? What do you mean? Very well. Let me take this opportunity to illuminate you, then. The person who killed the ninth man was me. Although I suppose to be more accurate, I encouraged him to get himself killed. While we were examining the main staircase, he came to me and told me his name. I recognized it at once, so I gave him a little push. Just a little white lie. It seems the settings for a dead were altered. Now only requires a single person to deactivate the detonator and the bracelet. Investigate what's beyond door 5. We'll meet again later. Okay, have a good one, guys. Oh, so that's why he went in there? And that's why he said that that man lied to me. That man killed him. God, you've got to be kidding me. Yeah, right here. I was lied to. He told me. He put me in here. It was him. And we didn't know he was talking about Ace. My God. I had 4 reasons for killing him. 1, as I said before, in an order game, the number 9 bracelet is of utmost importance. If I allowed him to keep such a useful tool, he or it would have become a threat to me. As such, I decided that he should be eliminated early on. 2, I wanted the number 9 bracelet. If I can manage to obtain it, I will be able to manipulate the game as I saw fit. I will be unable to acquire the bracelet unless its owner was dead. 3, even setting aside his number, he would have been nothing but trouble for me. He was aware of my past. He knew what happened here 9 years ago. It was important I eliminate him before he was able to disseminate this information. And 4, lastly, I wish to conduct a simple test. A test to see if this notary game was serious or a poor attempt at a joke. I needed to be quite sure. As such, I encouraged him to act against the rules so I might observe the outcome. Junpei glared at him. I don't get your third motive. What the hell happened 9 years ago? Didn't I just say? The notary game was played. I planned it out, and I conducted its execution. Why? What on earth was it supposed to do? I don't really think I have an obligation to tell you that. Ace smirked. He was trying to provoke them, and it was working. Although Ace had paid very little attention to Lois after catching her, the gun had never wavered from her temple. Blah. She looked quite pale, and when she spoke, her voice shook. Hey, what's with this gun? Where did he get this? Why don't you tell her, Santa? Santa ground his teeth and glared at Ace. On the other side of door 6, we found the gun in the coffin in the cargo room. And we left it there, remember? Right. The bastard must have grabbed it when we weren't looking. Ah, okay. Indeed I did. That was a pretty serious mistake, you know. Just saying you intend to leave it behind. Ace laughed, a short, derisive snort, and gave Junpei a sickling, pitying look. Well, there isn't much time left. I'll be off then. Where are you going? Do I really need to explain? I'd assumed it would be obvious by now. I have a number 9 bracelet, and now I have Lotus. Yep. That makes sense. Wasn't there a door with a 9 in it on the room that looked like a church? That's where you're going, isn't it? And how do you know that? Santa told me about it when we were looking for Clover. I see. Well, you are correct. That is my destination. But now I must say goodbye to all of you. Please, don't forget my warning. Move, and I'll pull the trigger. I don't need her alive to open the door, you know. As he spoke, Ace began backing toward the door, practically dragging Lois behind him. Junpei, Santa, June, and Seven stood, frozen. Ace had the face of a man gone mad. They had no doubt he would pull the trigger. Ace had reached the exit. He forced Lois to open it and turned and addressed them once more. Goodbye. Then he stepped through the door. It fell shut. In the blink of an eye, they were gone. As soon as Ace and Lois were gone, Junpei and the others leapt through the door in pursuit of Ace. But as Junpei laid his hand on the doorknob, there was a noise behind him. He looked over his shoulder. Oh crap. June was kneeling on the floor, breathing heavily. And this time, it's the same. They use the same animation, or same image. Instead of Junpei, it's Seven, who looks kind of creepy there, in my opinion. Hey! June, what happened? Are you alright? Santa ran June and wrapped his arm around her before she could collapse all the way. Jesus, you're burning up. Your fever's back. Are you okay? June's fever had returned, again for no apparent reason. Her eyes were watering, her eyelids drooped. Her breath came in dry, shallow gasps. I'm okay. Really, I'm fine. You should be worrying about Lotus. She was breathing hard now, and she could barely summon the strength to talk. Junpei was torn. He couldn't leave June alone in the state she was in. By every moment they waited, Ace was further away, Lotus's life in his hands. What was Junpei supposed to do? June's eye drifted to Junpei's. She managed to muster a weak smile. Jumpy, don't worry about me. I just need a little rest. I'll be fine. Don't you remember? I just need to rest a little bit last time. So please save Lotus. Think about what Ace has already done, Junpei. What he's got what he needs from Lotus. We really think he's gonna let her just walk away? Oh, damn it! You guys go on ahead. As soon as June starts feeling better, we'll follow you. Go! Junpei looked at June. She nodded once. She couldn't manage much more. But it was all the confirmation Junpei needed. His resolve was set. Alright. Come on, Seven. We're going after Ace. Hell yeah! Santa, you take good care of June. I'm trusting you. Santa nodded. Junpei turned. Before he had a chance to change his mind, started running toward the door. He could hear Seven's heavy footsteps behind him. Let's go! Junpei and Seven exploded into the hallway, their feet pounding the metal floor as they ran. This video has gone on for an hour and 3 minutes. I'm going to have to split this somehow. I did not realize this ending was going to take so long. I wasn't even expecting any of this to happen either, though, so I think it's only just, you know, common sense. I don't know what the hell's going on here.